Hi everyone, my name is Shane Musai and I will be your tutor for this summer semester. As we know, because of the coronavirus, we have to explore virtual means of carrying on this course. And I've decided, instead of using Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate, that I will use YouTube videos so that students have the features now that they can rewind the video, they can skip parts of the video, they can share the video, they can watch the video at any time they seem convenient. And most importantly, they can send the link of the video that they have problems with to me and say, for example, at 5 minutes and 42 seconds, I'm confused at that point, can you explain it further? And I would reply via email and explain that further if need be. Now, we're going to start with tutorial sheet 1, and this is the first question we have here. And it says, the following data represents 5 points on the supply curve for orange juice. And you see, these here are the prices, and these are the quantity for the supply curve. And below it, it says, and the data represent 5 points on the demand curve for orange juice. So these price and quantity at the bottom are for the demand curve. So the top one is the supply curve, the underneath one is the demand curve. And part A of this question says, graph the points of these supply and demand curves for orange juice. Be sure to put price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal axis. So this is pretty simple. You just plot price and quantity, and you plot the points, and this should be the answer that you get for part A. So this is supply curve here, and this is the demand curve here. And part B says, do these points seem to lie along two straight lines? If so, figure out the precise algebraic equation of these lines. Hint, if the points do lie on a straight line, you only need to consider two of them, right? So if we look at it, yes, the supply curve and the demand curve both lie along straight lines. The supply curve is positively sloped and the demand curve is negatively sloped. So let's calculate the equation, the algebraic equation for these lines. And if we remember from our maths course, equation of a line takes the form of y equal mx plus b, where m is the gradient and b is the y-intercept. Right, so b is essentially where the curve cuts the y-axis. Now, to calculate gradient, the formula for gradient is the change in y all over the change in x. Now, on our y-axis, we have price, so it's the change in price. On our x-axis, we have quantity all over the change in quantity. So let's first calculate this for the supply curve. To do so, we need 2 points. Any 2 points will give you that change because it's a straight line. So any 2 points will give you that change that we're looking for. For supply curve, we'll use the points P is equal to 1, Q is equal to 100, and when P is equal to 2, Q is equal to 300. So if you look back at your data, we'll essentially be using this point when price is equal to 1 and quantity is equal to 100, and 2 when price is equal to 2 and quantity is equal to 300. Right, so now that we have these 2 points, we can now calculate our gradient. So m is essentially equal to p1 minus p0 all over q1 minus q0. So this, I just put this formula here so that you can see how to calculate that change that we're talking about. So 2 minus 1 all over 300 minus 100, and this will give us 1 over 200, and this is a gradient. This is a gradient for your supply curve. So your supply curve would take the form of y equal 1 over 200 x plus b. But remember, on the y-axis we have price, and on the x-axis we have quantity. So this is price is equal to q over 200 plus b. So now we need to calculate b, and to calculate b we just need to use 1 point. So we'll use the point, the price is equal to 1 and quantity is equal to 100. We let's write back the equation. Price is equal to Q over 200 plus B. So when price is equal to 1 and quantity is equal to 100, we have 1 is equal to 100 all over 200 plus B. So this is equal to 0.5 plus B. So therefore B is equal to 1 minus 0.5, which is equal to 0.5. Therefore, our our supply curve is price is equal to Q over 200 plus 0.5. And usually you would write a supply curve in terms of quantity supplied, so we need to solve for Q. So Q over 200 is equal to P minus 0.5. I just come across here. Therefore, Q quantity supplied is equal to 200 P minus 100. This is your equation for quantity supplied. Now, we need to calculate quantity, the equation for quantity demanded. Right, so we need to calculate the equation, the algebraic equation for the line. Now remember, this is the algebraic equation for the line, and this is the formula here for the quantity supplied. Now we need to calculate the algebraic equation for the demand graph. So to do so, I'm just going to start here. We need 2 points, again, like how we started. So using 2 points. If we scroll back up, for the demand curve, we can use when price is equal to 1, quantity is 700, and when price is equal to 2, quantity is 600. And we're using this to calculate the gradient, which is the change in price all over the change in quantity, which is equal to 2 minus 1 all over 600 minus 700, which is equal to negative 1 over 100. And we expect a negative gradient because if you look at the demand curve, it is negatively sloped. So we expect to have a negative gradient here. Now that we have the gradient, we can say, well, the equation for the demand curve will take the form of y equal negative 1 over 100x plus b. And again, price on the y-axis, quantity on the x-axis. So we can say price is equal to negative q over 100 plus b, and now we need to solve b using 1 point on that demand curve. We'll use the point price is equal to 1, quantity is equal to 700, and we call price is equal to negative q over 100 plus b. So when price is equal to 1, we have quantity equal to 700 all over 100 plus b. And if we solve for b, you'll have b is equal to 1 plus 7, which is equal to 8. Therefore, your algebraic equation for your demand graph takes the form of price equals 8 minus q over 100. And again, you'd want to put this in terms of quantity demanded. Q over 100 is equal to 8 minus p. And if you multiply everything by 100, you have quantity demanded is equal to 800 minus 100p. So now you have your quantity demanded and your quantity supplied. And part C says, use your solution from part B to calculate excess demand for orange juice if the market price is 0. Now remember, these units of orange juice, each unit here represents 1,000,000 gallons. Because if you look at the original question, these quantities are quoted in millions of gallons, right? So each 1 unit here is 1,000,000 gallons of orange juice. So just keep that in mind when you're writing your final answer. Right, so to calculate excess demand is the extra demand, or is how much demand exceeds supply at that price. So if we look at price equals 0, equation for quantity demanded is 800 minus 100p. 800 minus 100p. So at price 0, when p is equal to 0, quantity demanded is equal to 800 minus 100 times 0, which is just equal to 800 million gallons of orange juice. So just quoting that because each unit here represents 1,000,000 gallons of orange juice. So now that we have that, we need to calculate the quantity supplied at that price. 200p minus 100, So this is equal to 200 times 0 minus 100, which is equal to negative 100. But you cannot have a negative quantity supplied. Companies would not supply anything below 0. So therefore, we have to set our quantity supplied to 0. For excess demand is equal to 800 minus 0, which is just equal to 800. Right, so the formula for excess demand is quantity demanded minus quantity supplied at that price, whatever price that the question suggests. And now if you look at part D says use a solution from part B to calculate the excess supply of orange juice when the price is $6 per gallon. And one thing I should mention as well, this 800 excess demand represents 800 million gallons of orange juice. So part D says use your solution from part B to calculate the excess supply of orange juice if the orange juice price is $6 per gallon. So excess supply is how much supply exceeds demand at that price. And so we'll write our quantity demand equation. At price equals 6, your quantity demanded will be 800 minus 100 times 6, which is just equal to 200. Again, this is 200 million gallons of orange juice. And your quantity supplied function was 200p minus 100. So at price equals 6, this is equal to 200 times 6 minus 100, which is equal to 1100 million gallons of orange juice. And I'm just not going to waste the time to write it all out. But your excess supply is equal to your quantity supplied minus your quantity demanded, which is 1100 minus 200, which equals to 900 million gallons of orange juice. And that's the end of question 1. If you have any difficulties, you can send me an email, or you can wait until you have the Zoom session before the midterm exam. I hope this was pretty simple, and I will see you in the next video where we'll answer question 2. Thank you and goodbye.